I'm live on my end.
Yeah,
I'm going.
That's a great reminder.
6:13.
Yeah.
Just to let you know.
You know what they say about showing up on time is so important. Dude, yeah, put it on your head. See if you like.
Whoa, it's so light.
There were so many times that the drips of sweat were coming down my temples and not my glasses.
I wonder if it would fit.
Now that's custom to me, so it might not. It might feel extremely awkward.
I feel like some pressure back here.
Yeah.
Which makes me think, custom.
I wonder
Yeah.
if it would fit my head perfectly because we're such
Big,
duplicates.
huge melons.
Wait, how did they?
It's 3D printed.
How did they measure your?
I had to take pictures of myself, which is embarrassing as it is. I had to do a online consultation. See that orange thing on top of the garbage over there in the corner?
Yeah.
They sent me that. I did a video conference call with them and showed them what areas were loose and not. And they said, okay, I think we got it. They sent me that.
And it fits like a glove.
Yeah.
That's cool.
$300.
That's pretty cool.
That
If you're willing to wait for it.
That's around what my helmet is.
Yeah, that's what all high-end helmets
And for the
are.
process, that's pretty crazy.
And if
For
I
the
could
customization.
get the sweat,
Yeah.
5-year warranty, crash warranty for 3 years.
if I could get the sweat to roll down my temples, I would pay way more than that.
I am a horrible sweater.
Yeah.
And I guarantee that company, if you reached out to them,
You think so?
And the reality,
who don't they sponsor right now?
Yeah.
That's true. I got to make them happy.
Yeah, and the reality is, like, I need that for saddles, right? Like, how cool would it be if you could have, like, a 3D
Send a
printed
couple
saddle?
of,
It's gonna happen.
It's going to happen.
They do
It's
it
gonna
now
happen.
with physique, but it's not
Yeah.
to your personal.
Yeah.
You
It's
just
not
need to
personal.
send a couple of pictures
Of your ass.
gooch
I'll
and
send
your
my
ass.
gooch, yeah.
Yeah.
the
Online
issue now.
consultation.
Yeah.
Pants are optional.
sore normal?
Sometimes when I'm getting the show ready to produce, I have to find a starting point, and all I know is picture of my gooch.
It's less than the new
Is it really?
one of these, yeah.
Wow.
Time to play bikes. Ready for the rhyme of the day? Beautiful weather today, although in the middle of the week. How many Strava comments are going to say indoor training is weak? 2 different uses of the word week. Different weeks, so I just want to know that my rhyme is still working. All I know is that with the classics here, and we will have plenty of takes, without Paul here, we all get to talk about gravel and disc brakes. Welcome to episode 472 of the longest standing podcast in the sport of cycling. This is the one and only Packfiller Cycling Podcast. Think of us as a post-ride beer with several friends and one gigantic asshole. I am potentially that asshole. My name's Pat Bolger. With me are the members of the Packfiller, sans Paul, because he is on his way back to depressing weather. So let's check with tonight's Untapped Prologue, of course powered by Untapped Maple. With Vermont maple syrup at its core, its finest choice in energy. Tonight's question, gentlemen. You walk into a bar. You have to order something other than a beer or wine. What is your cocktail of choice? And Sam, you cannot pick an old-fashioned.
Oh, yeah, I have a different one.
Okay. Let's get with the introductions. Let's see who's here, shall we? First off, I have seen his bare ass, Mr. Sam Waples. How are you, man?
I feel like we bonded, you know?
Why?
Like, that's a new step, right?
On the way home from our event this weekend, I'm driving along in the RV, struggling,
My God, I know where this is going.
struggling in massive side winds. I was being thrown around like a rag doll in a washing machine on that drive home. I was honestly so tense, so stressful, and I'm just like, the steering wheel's at 45-degree angle the whole way home. And I look over to my left. Anyway, I've seen Sam's bare ass, Mr. Sam Waples. First of all, how are you, sir?
Smashed against the glass.
Yeah, pressed ham.
That was good.
Yeah.
So I'm great. Yeah. I mean, this week has kind of crushed me because this was a hard weekend, which we'll get to. But
That's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
You did that in a moving vehicle.
First of all, cocktail. You gotta answer the question.
Yeah.
So we don't want to go
cocktail,
farther
sorry.
into deep.
Yep. Thank you. Bring it back. Dirty Shirley.
What the?
You know what? That
You know a dirty Shirley.
For the listener's sake,
Yeah.
what is a dirty
Shirley
Shirley?
Temple, but grown-ups version with some vodka.
guys are such children.
Yeah, I would have never, but this book that I'm reading, that's like they drink those in the book. So we had like a friend's night, and they're like, oh, let's make dirty Shirley's. I was a baller.
So vodka,
Really good.
Yeah,
It's just a Shirley Temple vodka.
yeah, that's it.
vodka, 7-Up, or
And
Sprite, right?
Yep,
Yeah.
and then
Grenadine.
And then a cherry.
But it just sounds so childish.
It is. This is the best part.
Okay. All right. Next off, I've seen his bare ass, Mr. David Waples.
You both did it?
He got destroyed.
passenger side of the car.
We have video of it too.
Oh,
Yeah.
my God.
Let's just say it looked like, the final scene of a Charlie Brown Christmas where they tilt their head back and go, ooh, That's what I saw.
Insane.
Passenger side front, passenger side rear. It's almost like they had to get out of the car, go, Pat's up there. We all got to switch places so we're on the right side of the car.
It worked out perfectly.
It
didn't
did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah. And Mr. David Waples. Yeah. Thank you for that.
You're welcome. Who had a hair in your butthole?
The best part about
I couldn't tell because Sam's was reaching around the back of the car.
It's like if you blowed up a bouncy castle inside
another
of the
refer-
car.
Yeah, it's like another reference. You know that in the Alien movies where the alien just goes against the glass? That's what I saw.
Oh man, there was like straight up. I looked back and David had left a mark on the glass, and I was like his butt print was there.
Oh, okay. That would be like shit.
No, it
No,
wasn't
no,
a shit.
no.
No.
I had to sit there.
Both
Yeah.
the wives were laughing. from
Oh,
what I
there.
could see.
Yeah, Danielle was taking a video of it, which shows you like
Shelby.
trying to like scratch your eyes out.
Soon be available on the dark web.
Yes.
Number one, how are you? And number two, what is your cocktail of choice in a Rudy Tooty bar?
Doing very well. And cocktail of choice. You said he can't bake an old fashioned.
You can't pick an old fashioned either.
Well, so
That's too easy.
Well, I always go for anything old fashioned, like Perry old fashioned. So if it's like a whiskey esque on a giant stone, for the s'mores old fashioned, that's still an old fashioned. But any drink that like gives, there's ones like I had a duck fat washed one once where it's wild. People do like these. Like it's like an old fashioned, but with some sort of twist to it, and I always go for those.
Okay, what's a duck fat washed? They
We
scrub
can
the-
literally
Like they shake the whiskey around in duck fat and then strain it out.
That sounds revolting.
Yeah, it was actually pretty good. I mean, if you plugged your nose, it tasted good, but it smelled funky. Yeah,
Okay,
I wouldn't get it again.
I'm out. Yeah,
I wouldn't get it
that's
again.
fucked up.
Yeah, but like a local restaurant does, instead of like the sweetener is like honeycomb.
Oh, that one's so good.
Oh, well, that's
Ooh,
So good.
I had one recently with the Angel's Envy rye. So it's like, anyways, anything old fashioned esque.
okay. I guess I'll give it to him.
Yeah.
Loophole. Third, and I'm sorry to do this, Jackson, but it's the bare ass theme. I have wiped his bare ass when he was a baby. Mr. Jackson Bolger. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I'm good. Yeah. Let's see. For a cocktail, I would probably do just rum and coke.
Dirty Shirley.
No, you took that, so I can't.
that's
I
fair.
can't repeat.
Rum and Coke.
Rum
huh?
and Coke. Yeah, I love Coke. Absolute. I'm talking about Coca-Cola.
Yeah, I wasn't gonna go.
Thought I'd put it out there. And I had one. just thought I'd be
shot of rum and a line of Coke.
Yeah. My pinky nail's a little bit long for no reason.
Damn, that's good. I don't know. I mean, I've just heard that's what Coke people do.
Yeah, I mean, we've all watched Breaking Bad.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Trump Jr.
Damn well. But I really like Coca-Cola, and then I had one when I was camping last summer, and I don't know what rum it was, but I really liked it.
Probably a Bacardi or something like that. One of those
Yeah.
mixer rums.
Yeah, it's really good though.
All right. Me, finally, someday, Jackson will have to wipe my bare ass.
That's a great theme. You did great there.
Start saving for the help.
Jackson, I promise I will drive off a cliff before that day comes. With an itchy a-hole the whole way. Never mind. Okay, there we go. Mine is definitely when I go to bars, it is a gin martini.
Oh, yum. Yeah.
Gin martini with olives, with 2 olives. I started off back in the day of when martinis were cool. You know, there was that. Well, of course, way back in the day, martinis were cool. But then they kind of had a revival in the late 90s or early 2000s, I think. And everybody's doing it. And I got into vodka martinis. And then I realized that vodka is just, you don't drink vodka to enjoy it.
There's no flavor.
Yeah. You either mix it or, I know there are a whole bunch of people in Russia right now going, bullshit. But you have not tried the best. Fuckhead. That's it. We bomb you. But that was a horrible, I'm sorry to all my Russian fans. But I've had some Russian vodka. I had a buddy who actually housed an athlete during the Goodwill Games from Russia, and he brought a bottle from his home distillery. I kid you not. It had a foil cap. You remove the cap of this bottle of vodka, and you have to throw it away because you tear it to destroy it. And so we had to drink the whole thing. And I will say that real Russian vodka, but what you're striving for is no flavor. Mm-hmm. The best vodkas are so smooth, they're not supposed to have flavor.
Right.
And that's where I'm like, why am I drinking vodka martinis when a gin martini has a wonderful flavor to it?
Yeah. For the olives, I guess.
That's pretty controversial. A lot of people don't like gin.
Really?
Yeah.
I understand that.
Yeah.
But why then don't drink it?
Oh, no, 100%. I'm just saying, like, I've not heard a lot of people say that they prefer gin over vodka.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, they're wrong.
Then, yeah.
Because a gin martini is flavorful. It's little, it's got the juniper, it's got the botanicals.
Gin's way more enjoyable.
And I find with vodka, you have one too many things with vodka in it, and then you can never have vodka again. Yeah. It's one of those things that just sticks with you.
Or 3 vodka martinis. Speaking for someone I know personally.
Who are we looking at?
Nah, me. I'm looking at myself. Gentlemen, as likely noticed by the absence of the mentions of or the evils of hookless rims or high cadences, Mr. Paul Main is not with us tonight. He's on his way home from a sunny training camp in California. Fucker. And we all hate him just a little bit because of it. However, in the meantime, let's check on everybody else's cycling life, shall we? Jackson, I'm going to get to you first because there was a combined element that we were talking about quite regularly, but Sam showed up late, so we didn't get it on air. Did you get outside this weekend? First off, no. Second of all, I did see that there was an FTP test on your weekend.
Mm-hmm. There was.
Give me the numbers.
I'll give it to this group in private.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair.
No,
580 watts.
That'd be
FTP.
For
crazy.
10 minutes.
Yes. No, 20. FTP.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. FTP.
Yeah.
20.
No, I didn't go outside this weekend because I knew I had the FTP test this weekend. So I just figured, take it easy Saturday, and then on Sunday I'll go for it. Yeah, it went well, though. It went up. My FTP went up 20 watts, which I thought was a significant jump. Yeah. And then my MAP, so that 5-minute power, went up like 50.
Whoa.
So that 5-minute power went up quite heavily.
What does MAP stand for?
Maximum aerobic, isn't it?
Power?
I think so. Maximum aerobic power, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that's like that 5-minute. Remember when I got smoked on that Doomsday Hill? The last time we did it, and
that's like
last year.
Yeah, last year.
Oh. Yeah.
That this year will be a lot different.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So, yeah. But it went well. Yeah, I'm feeling really good. Like I told you, this is probably the strongest I've ever been in end of March. So feeling really good about it.
You hear that, guys? Sam,
that's awesome.
You hear that? You're just staring at the piece of paper in front of you. Come back to us.
Well, we're gonna rip off everybody's legs.
Yeah.
That's
warm.
And feed them to them.
Yeah. And now I've got to figure out what to do next. I think I'm going to take that taper week as just kind of like a free ride week. And then, I'll probably just start another one. Might as well.
Okay. And if you don't mind me bringing it up, you and I were talking off mic before we started the show about, you were saying that you're just going to, like you just said, start a new training program, a Wahoo-based training program, which is predominantly designed for indoor training.
Yeah.
There is, now that we're reaching wonderful weather outside, this stigma about people who hop on the trainer when it's nice outside. And here we are in a cultural world where everybody's just like, don't be mean, don't be a hater, don't be a hater, don't be a hater. And then all these fuckers come on and like going, you should be outside, you should be outside. That's okay. Ride. That's okay. Oh, he's not here right now to defend himself.
Yeah.
But all those types of things. So are you planning on indoor days even into the spring and summer?
I guess it depends on the day, right?
Yeah.
So I think during the week, minus the Thursdays, So say we have like a local ride where we all meet at a local bike shop and just go.
Worlds.
Yeah. Or like a local race series. That'll be different. Then I'll go outside. But during the week, other than that, I probably will stay inside just because it's so convenient. I have to finish homework. I have to finish a certain amount of homework by a certain time, not a certain time, but by a self-created certain time. And so staying inside is just really nice. It's structured like we talked about earlier. And I will probably do that throughout the summer just for time purposes. However, weekends are different.
Oh, God, yeah.
And I also, what I've done recently too, is I look at what the weekend consists of, right? And then I kind of try and replicate that on the road. And so if it's a hard interval day, like a longer interval day, say this weekend, right? I'll probably try and be the animator so I can give myself that benefit on the back.
Knowing you've got to do 4x5 minute segments, you'll
I'll do something like
hurt
that.
your father for 5 minutes,
Right.
and then relax, and then do it again.
Yeah, and I haven't done, and that's what I'll probably do this weekend because I haven't had a good hard outdoor ride in a while. So yeah.
How about you two? Would you consider the idea of actually weekday indoor rides even when the weather's nice?
Absolutely not.
No, why not?
Because my priority is, after being inside all day, is to like have some outside time.
I get it.
Yeah. It's not about to me, it's like less about the training. It's definitely, I agree with Jackson, it's definitely the better way to train. If you're trying to like build and be as fast as possible, but you only have an hour, you should stay inside.
Yeah.
But to me, it's more of the like unwinding.
I just want to get out and pedal.
My basement is not a happy place for me.
Really?
I want to go outside more than anything. So
Did something happen down there, David?
yeah. It's just that the problem is there's no ventilation.
Did somebody touch you in the no spot down there?
Too far. I was thinking a fart joke. Jesus.
Who hurt you?
There's no windows. This is the big thing.
That's my life.
Yeah, there's no windows. And look at me. I have no color in my skin. I need sunshine.
And you were in Maui.
Yeah.
Yeah. I totally agree. Both. Yeah, I won't be outside. I won't be inside.
Yeah.
But that's just because I have other things. Like, I'm probably gonna do my indoor trainer rides through like at least April.
Yeah.
And then maybe like in May. It just depends on how things shake out because we're gonna have like the Wednesday nights, the Thursday nights.
Yeah.
Like, so then I'll be outside, but I'll just take it more for if I'm gonna do inside training, I'm gonna do weight training.
Right.
Which is it helps with cycling, but I just do something different.
Mondays for the rest of my life, unless I come home from a brutal race on Sundays, Mondays for the rest of my life, I will be doing at least 30 to 50 minutes on the rowing machine just because
Shoulders.
I gotta.
Yeah.
The core, shoulders, all that kind of stuff. I have to do it. And so I'll be doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't have air conditioning in the room, so it's going to get ugly. It's going to get really, really ugly.
Muggy.
Yeah.
Muggy as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's
swamp
my little
ass.
space. That's my little space. Okay, so Sam and David, we hit the wild and windy plains of central Washington this past weekend with the, I'm putting in parenthesis, Gran Fondo, end parenthesis, Ephrata. If you had to describe the day, gentlemen, in less than 5 words each, what would you say?
It's a fucking race.
Fucking race. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Yeah, it is. I mean, like everybody that like placed top 20 is posting, like whatever in the age group and, 10th overall or whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, they're posting that because it was a race to them.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, I understand Paul's argument, but I just
He's
think
not
it's
here. Just rip
I
into
just
him.
think it's a stupid argument. You know, it's just one of those things where it's like, yeah, so it was absolutely brutal. I think David and I both met some demons out there. I'm just like, I'm so pissed about, I've had like mechanical issues at that every year. You know, like this year, front mech issues where I did.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I couldn't shift into my little ring for the first climb. So I was standing out of saddle, like trying to keep up with that first group, like spinning at like 60 RPMs, like just not.
15-minute climb.
Oh God, yeah. So then I was shot, right?
Yeah.
And I recovered, but anyway,
This
it's
is
tough.
This is an event put on by a group I've called Vicious Cycles. And they have been doing this and a whole lot of very similar fondo / gravel / kind of events. And this is you guys done it twice?
Second year, yeah.
I've done
this is my
3.
second year also. Okay, you've done
This is the
3.
3rd year in a row, yeah.
I haven't done it for about 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
Before all the ticker issues, I did it.
But they at the end they give, isn't there like the full series? You get prizes for being a winner of it.
There are, if you do the full series.
Is it a race?
It's not a day. It's not a day of.
Well,
Is
some
it
of
a
them,
race?
some of them are called such and such race.
There was for the Medio distance a podium picture. I do want that to be said, and I saw it online.
There was a podium picture with Cole.
Who the fuck's Cole?
Cole Patton was there.
Who's that?
What? He's the pro gravel guy out of Wenatchee. He rides for the feed.
Okay.
and giant.
Yeah, and Giant.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, he rolls
yeah.
up. He rolls up next to David and I going up the first climb, and he's like, "Hey guys, how's it going?" And
Somebody's
I'm like,
gonna bust my balls on the
Oh.
review of the show and say, "I can't believe you didn't know who."
yeah,
Cole Patton
especially
was."
like a local hero, right?
Not
Out of Wenatchee.
local. He's Wenatchee. It's a totally
That's
different
a
place.
state.
Oh well. But we started off in rain, and the rain slowly switched to. The funny thing is, my Strava said the wind was 4 miles an hour, and that is the largest lie I have ever seen. I want to punch a weatherman just to bring that up, because it was. Oh God! Wind pretty much. It felt like in all directions at some point in time. Out on these plains of Central Washington. For those of you who don't know where Ephrata is, congratulations. Nobody else does. There are some moments. I took a lot of video, and I'm going to be posting the video. There are some moments that it is absolutely beautiful terrain.
That canyon road of like
absolutely gorgeous terrain.
unreal.
The wind and everything. How did you guys take the conditions? How did they? Was this what you expected? The night before, I was thinking, okay, if it's raining before we start, I'm probably gonna jump ship. If it's to the point of raining sideways and snowing, I'm gonna jump ship.
I think that's worse when you're sitting in an RV, right? Because it's like you're in this like warm comfort. Place,
I was in a cocoon.
Yeah,
it was awesome.
And then it's like you have to go out into rain.
Yeah, 7,000 feet of climbing. I misread it. Thought it was about 5,500 feet of climbing.
75.
That was the past 55. They added 2,000.
Apparently, the majority of it, according to a lot of locals, and after the experience was true, the first half of the race is over 2/3 of the climbing in that first half. And I remember we got to a climb with a guy, and he's like, "We're 2/3 of the way through the climbing," and I looked at him and I went, "Don't you fucking lie to me." I didn't say it. In my mind, I was saying it. I looked to the guy next to me and he went, "He said it. I don't know what he's talking about." And okay. I don't want to get excited.
Not ready for this.
Yeah. How'd the legs feel, guys? First shake out of the year.
I mean, I think that if I didn't have the issues that I had on the first climb, overall, I think that I handled it very well. My stomach was also good at taking in food. So overall, race fitness, I felt good.
David?
First hour and a half, I was on fire. It was the same
I
situation.
wish
as
the
last
world
year.
could see the glassy look in your eyes when you started talking right there.
Well, it's because all I can think about is the rest of the race. First hour and a half, though, same story as last year. Dragging Sam's, ass over climbs, trying to bridge back up to the group that I want to be in. Made it up the climb essentially with the front group, and then slowed down to grab Sam.
Pulled me up.
Which, some of those guys that made it up this year in front of me, they got the, second fastest time ever going up that climb. So it was a brutal year going up that climb. I felt good. I had the power for the first hour and a half. And something just...
Yeah, I was waiting for you to get to the truth of the matter.
I remember doing there was this really nice pull. Somebody even came up behind me because I towed them up to a group. I was doing like 320 for, 5-10 minutes. I remember looking, I was like, oh, this is great power. I'm happy with this. And some kid rolls by and goes, oh, great pull, man. Thanks so much. We get into the pack. I'm like, yeah, cool. I'll pull everybody to the next pack. Go to the front of the group.
Lights out.
Lights out. Nothing.
How far is this into the
27 miles. I remember I looked down and I was like, holy shit. This is... I have... You were 27 miles in when I realized...
Into an 85-mile race.
When I realized I was so screwed. And then I was like, oh, what have you eaten, David? Oh.
That wasn't even what... You came up to me and said, have you been eating? And I'm like, oh, yeah, definitely.
Because I didn't even cross my mind. I was like, oh, geez, how long have we been riding? 27 miles, an hour and a half? Fuck, I should have been eating and drinking. And so that's where I started my nutrition, was 27 miles in. And I spent the next hour and a half to 2 hours trying to pull myself out of an incredible bonk.
That is an interesting process, trying to actually restore yourself from dead. I mean, it just like, I'm not going to make it.
I'm sure that there's, yeah.
It's crazy because you just know you cannot put out a certain amount of power, and you just hope that the sugar gets back to where it needs to go.
Yeah.
And you just hope that your legs will wake back up.
I will say that I don't like to talk about myself very much on this podcast.
You can, because it was impressive.
I had a not bad day.
Yeah.
A great day.
I hate to say it, but you did well, kid.
I really wanted to catch one of you guys, but
I
knew that
know.
wasn't going to happen.
When we had stopped for like trying to fix my derailleur, David goes, Pat's going to catch us. And I'm like, no. And I'm like kicking my derailleur. I'm like, it can't happen like this. Yeah.
I spent probably the good, at least the front half of the race kind of just in reserve mode. Pat, don't go hard. Yeah, don't do it. Fuck these guys. I got to get past to the next group. And then I go by myself to the next group and things like that. There was a lot of moments like that. I was doing really well most of the race. I was actually fueling properly until the last 20 miles. And then I got too excited and I stopped fueling.
Yeah.
And I ran out of gas with about 8 miles to go. I'm learning.
That's a bad point to run out in that race.
It is, and it wasn't pretty. But I was a god until like that moment, and then the lights just went boo, and there were like 4 people on my wheel, and it's like when a concert ends and the whole crowd wants more, and I honestly pulled off, and I heard 4 guys behind me go, oh,
they're all rooting for an encore, and you just walk away.
It's like, dude, come on, we'll take a couple pulls. But I'm blown. They were one guy. He was nice, super nice guy. He actually was staring at my ass for so long. He said, "I'm definitely going to tune into that podcast," because he was looking at the logo apparently. But and he was perfectly quiet back there because he's in the shadow of my butt.
That is the most famous butt. All over that recap.
And so it was good. And I felt pretty damn strong the whole time. So it was good. Did you guys race this? Was it a race? We said it right at the onset. Did you race it? I heard a couple stops for pee and stuff like that.
Yep. I mean, I think that we intended to race it. I think it turned into a very hard training day, but I even sprinted at the end. I was like, I want to make this as hard as possible, right? Like, I want to try to get a race effort in. And so even though it didn't pan out that way because things just went south and we were kind of in like survival mode.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would say,
David, did you race?
Yeah, I definitely stopped after
27 miles.
No. Well, I think I still wanted to ride like a race for the first 27 miles, but it was like, sometime between the first and second climb where I realized I was like, this isn't going to work out.
So is it a race? Might not be a race. Might not be.
You know what's so hard is that there is no hiding in these races. So maybe the first 10 guys that were riding together were able to work together for maybe the first half of the race. But you look at those finish times, everybody's coming in minutes apart.
Yeah.
There is no hiding. There's no protection. So when it blows up, you're done. Like in most road races, even people who are vastly weaker than you can stay in the pack until the last 10 miles.
Yeah.
And so that's very different than a road race. And so I think it takes a lot when you get popped to keep going, to keep pushing yourself.
You guys were up ahead of me, not by as much as I thought you were, but you guys were up ahead of me, and I'm assuming the genetic makeup of the riders was a little different. But I will say that I noticed it was a very strange dynamic that here we're riding with pretty good massive side winds happening, and I don't know if it's because people either are just too competitive, or and I don't want to insult anybody, or they don't know how to ride in a crosswind.
Mm-hmm. They're guttering you?
No, they're just riding straight, in the middle of the road, going straight, and nobody's
echelon
doing any kind of side wind protection. Nobody's doing anything like that. And I jumped in occasionally here and there with some people who I knew what they were doing, and we would work together incredibly well for a while. In fact, one guy, it was a man and woman, and both of them were just freaking gods. I was like, let me guess, you're both from Bend. Because they were beautiful and they were strong.
And
they knew how to ride an echelon.
Yeah.
And at one point, the guy looked at me and said, "It is so nice not riding alone for a little bit here." Because we were rotating through, and she wasn't a huge person, and so she was like, "This wind is so bad that I'm gonna just stay behind both of you guys." But the two of us were rotating through, and it was just really interesting noticing that there was a lot of dick measuring, even 80 places back.
Mm-hmm.
These guys are just it's almost like you don't pull through, you attack, and I'm going, we have 70 miles to go. And you're not letting people sit on your wheel. Or even worse, when you pass somebody, they get on your wheel. And then that's it. They don't rotate through. They don't do anything like that.
Yeah.
This is a weird dynamic. There was a guy, David heard it, that got really pissed at me because it was after that first little climb, then you go downhill and then on the pavement, and then it starts to kick up, and there's a little stop sign that you go through. And they had slowed down. I mean, we were in a big group, and so I just didn't hit the brakes. I just kept rolling through and rolled right into the back of the other group. And he's like, "You got to be working together. You can't just sprint away from us, And
it's
I'm
I didn't.
I'm like, I didn't.
Fuck stick.
Oh yeah, but it was because people are taking it seriously because they're trying to work together.
Okay.
It was competitive.
It was just really weird.
But it's a weird dynamic.
Yeah. Okay. I want to. I'm just trying to find the perfect background to do it, and there it is. I want to make a confession.
What did you do?
Forgive me, Father, for I have sinned.
Doper.
It has been 46 years since my last confession.
A lot has happened.
I, Patrick Bolger, have finally figured out what it's like to race on proper air pressure.
Good for you.
How long have we been telling you this? Wait until you ride it on 28.
What are you doing, you moron?
I finally I stopped pumping at 45 pounds of pressure in my tires. Washboards did not exist in this event.
Wow.
I had no problems on the road stretches. I had no problems on the climbs. The descents felt like butter.
Butter, baby.
I don't know what took me so long.
There's so much evidence out there, and yet you were
40
no.
pounds of pressure.
Yeah.
To me, everything in my body is going, don't. It's like riding in wet cement. But it worked. It was wonderful. It was heavenly.
I think
and your probably whole body thanked you for that.
My shoulders feel great. My back felt great. I felt like a god.
I have to admit, I still struggle with probably running as low as I should. I ran about 45.
Really?
You could probably run around 30.
I was going to say 35 or 30. And I still...
You could probably do 40 in the back and
35 or something. Anyway, I'm sure it could be a lot lower, but I still struggle. I struggle with it too.
Yeah. I mean, I've run 60 pretty much on gravel.
That's crazy.
And my mountain bike forever.
And your mountain bike?
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
that's not real.
Yeah.
You're making that up.
No.
Wow. There's going to be a whole new Pat.
I'm consistently like 22 on a mountain.
Yeah, same.
Oh my God, I can't do that. I think I'm gonna bury my rim into it and rock.
No. It's great. You got all the traction.
I'm growing, and I also really want to figure out a proper way to get scratched shoes into my face.
Can they fix that?
I don't.
We
think
talked
they
about
can.
this.
We did on the last show, and I remember at one point I was just throwing. I tore open the whole bag. I think a couple fell out, and I put the whole bag on my face.
Yep.
Thank God the camera's
have
on me
to.
because I just did.
Yes.
You absolutely have to.
It's like a snuff film.
Yes.
I was killing myself.
Yeah.
I wonder if
I was
the,
gagging myself.
I wonder if
Yeah.
the shot block delivery is like patented. Why the hell aren't we doing it? Why isn't everybody else doing that?
It's a different
No.
shaped.
I have
You
no
could put
clue.
little
It doesn't make
circles.
any sense to me because I'm doing the exact same thing. I had to make sure that it tore all the way down so that I could just kind of open it up and shove the whole package up against my face.
Yeah,
Right?
just-
Yeah, and then you're like,
Yeah.
yeah, it doesn't work. You're inevitably going to drop a few.
And I felt the best.
Yep.
After that bag of scratched shoes.
Yes.
I felt the best. I
Yes.
was a god
Yeah.
for at least 2 hours. This is when everybody was sitting on my wheel.
Yeah.
It's like going, first of all, this guy's got this is a big dude.
Yeah,
so we're
big butt.
comfortable behind him. Not big butt, big midsection. But I have a bubble butt.
Oh.
And everybody's just, that was the moment where they all went, oh, what, party's over? I'm like, yeah, sorry guys.
I ran out of gummies.
And they all left me for dead.
Yeah.
Fuckers. Yeah. So anyway, it was good. I was always competing at one point in time, and I do want that to be a thing to bring away from this. And I can say this when Paul's not here, because Paul is the traditionalist who loves classic road races, and I could not agree more. I mean, the both of us grew up on that. I don't know culturally if new cyclists want to learn how to become bike racers. That entire Fondo, I was racing. I was racing to catch the next guy in front of me. And when that guy caught me and passed me, I was racing to get him back. Or he stopped at a food stop and I didn't, and I kept going. It never stopped for 6+ hours. And that is something that I think traditional road racing is going to have a really tough time competing against.
Yeah, I totally agree. And we started with so many people, right? I mean, it was that's such a cool thing.
Yeah, I think he's
250 people. I think is how many rolled out of there.
Yeah.
I was looking at the just like the post you guys had on Strava afterwards, and I even said to my wife, I was like, God, if I had the right bike, I probably would have been there. Honestly.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
that was going to be something I was going to ask you about.
Mm-hmm.
You win, and people can see back in the history of this website and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You had a time that you were like next Ted King, motherfucker, and things like that. And then you stopped, and it probably is heavily leaning upon your equipment.
It not only is it heavily, it is 100% equipment based decision.
Mm-hmm.
If I don't have the proper machine to race,
Mm-hmm.
I can't do it. With what I have right now, it's so heavy and it's so
Well, then it
works
is just
down.
participation.
Yeah, and I don't
It's not. It's exactly
It's
what
not
we
your
were talking
style.
about.
Yeah.
It's not a race.
No.
You can't race. You can't be competitive.
exactly, and I haven't worked since September to just participate, which sounds so
No,
elitist,
totally.
Yeah.
No, absolutely. Especially, and this isn't a condescending old man thing, but especially at your age, you're like, I'm in my prime, baby. Let's dance.
Yeah.
Doesn't time make a pretty sweet gravel bike?
They do.
Just saying.
And I know somebody who
Dude,
probably is
you're
going to
telling me.
sell their gravel bike soon. So, $20.
True.
Right?
I'd give it away for $1 at this point.
I will. I have $1.
I do. I'll tell you what, I got a $2 bill at home
And
with
then
your name
you
on
could
it.
ride a time.
This is a great point.
There we go.
Yeah.
Get me chubbed up just thinking about it.
Jesus, that's me right there, right where I need to be.
You know what? And after this weekend, I've chubbed up. I almost want to just stop and bask in this moment for a second.
I just
This
think that
moment.
coming in from Jackson is
It's
That's
the,
the best
it's
part.
the classic,
Yeah,
the hit in
yeah,
the bar.
Yeah,
Although it sounds like Ryan's here.
I know, right?
I want to ask you guys about your lodging when you go to races. David and Sam, you guys got up early in the morning.
Did you drive day of?
They drove day of. What time did you get up?
Bold.
5:30.
5:30.
Mm-hmm.
How long between getting up and getting in the car and driving?
15 minutes.
30 minutes.
That
'cause
quick.
He
That
picks
quick.
up at 6.
Bing, bang, boom. Okay. Do you think that is detrimental to your?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Maybe. I don't know.
Sitting in a car and then just hopping into a race. I mean, I didn't even spin. I literally just rolled up to the start line and went.
Yeah.
Totally.
Checked in,
Mm-hmm.
pinned your number on, so to speak, put it on your bike, and took off.
Mm-hmm.
I drove the RV up the night before.
Smart man.
I make fun of you.
Didn't invite us.
Full electric.
Rub it
Full. I could hook up my poop hose. I had water, electric. I used their internet to actually stream live TV. I watched the GU basketball game, unfortunately, from my TV in my rig. I had heat. I cooked in my kitchen. I had privacy when I needed to go dookie. I had all that stuff. I slept like a baby.
I'll tell you what, an RV, the upfront cost is pretty high.
It's insane.
But after a while, it just starts paying for itself. Like situations like that, that's nice. Especially the bed setup you've got.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's nice.
I always made fun of you.
Yeah.
I did. I did it to your face.
Yeah.
I was like, that's so much work, to an RV. I was like, it was brilliant.
The van life, hashtag van life people, I understand that's the coolest thing in the world right now. I do want to say to all the hashtag van life people that my rig costs a little less than yours, brand new. I have
Way more space.
Yep.
We get pretty close to the same gas mileage, which is shit. Absolute shit. But I have a stand-up bathroom with a shower.
You don't touch both walls when you stand up.
Yeah. Okay. So could you ever see yourself doing this type of a thing? And if so, what would be the bare minimum? I'm talking perfect weather. Let's say, June, July. If you were going to go to a race, let's say Tour de Bloom. You're going to Tour de Bloom. And you are deciding that you're going to camp. What's the bare minimum you would need in order to make a stage race effort that you are still able to perform at the highest level?
What you have.
Don't say a Class A motorhome.
What you have.
Yeah, no.
There's no way I could, I'm not, less than what you have. I think you're in a Sprinter van.
Or even less, where you're in one of those nice
vehicle.
Tent rigs are getting nice.
No.
Tents are getting nice.
So
No.
what I've done in the past, I don't know if it gets you at optimal performance, but there was a time where I was incredibly poor. I still drive the same car as when I was incredibly poor, and I would still do it with the same car. I just put a twin mattress in the back of my truck with a camper. I have a camper shell thing, like just a hard shell.
Yeah.
And maybe my camp stove, and I've done that a number of times. I actually tried to do that with Sam for Boise Twilight Crit. He thought I had plans for a hotel, and I was like, "No, bro, we're gonna sleep in the back of my truck," and he bailed. He was like, "I'm not doing that. I can't drive to Boise, sleep in the back of your truck, and race." I was like, "Fuck you, dude. Yes, you could
Grow up.
Grow up. I don't have money for a hotel." I've done that. I've camped on the ground, but I think that the truck with an actual mattress, the mattress is what makes or breaks it.
Yeah.
So then you can have an actual good night's sleep, and then you bathe in a river somewhere, and
No. I'm out.
Part.
No.
See,
that's
now
my
live
point.
in a world.
What you have, like being able to take a shit, or
Instant hot water, by the
Instant
way,
hot
when
water.
you're unhooked up.
It was seriously David and
endless instant hot water
Yes.
when you're hooked up.
When we finished that race and we went and changed in the RV, it was so good because I'm just I'm standing there and I'm standing up,
We're
right?
talking about bare minimum. Obviously, this is excellent. Taj
No,
Mahal.
that's all I'm gonna do. That is my bare minimum because I want to live like a freaking
Princess.
king.
For people who don't know, I have what is called a Class C motorhome. It is
Luxury.
it is basically a Ford 350 front with this gigantic Winnebago extension put on back. Maybe the length of it, I'm thinking, is like 19, 20 feet.
I was gonna say
It's not a huge rig.
32. Are you full 32?
Is it?
I think so.
Is it that long?
From nose to.
Oh, it might be. You're
boot.
right. You're right. I'm thinking of my
32.
trailer. Whoops. But
whoops.
we used to have a trailer. And I will say, like I said, the gas mileage absolutely blows. But my wife and I are going to take it to Breck Epic this year. We're gonna just have a good time and go all the way down there, kind of like Jackson and I did with Leadville a few years ago.
Yeah.
Well, 10 years ago.
Yes.
And it is such a great way to do that kind of traveling. And
You win.
no,
I know. I agree with you.
I actually, one thing I'm really seriously thinking about doing is trying to create a series of content where it's talking about alternative ways to race your bike and alternative ways to get to races and alternative ways to maybe save some money. Now, mind you, in the grand scheme of things, my rig ain't saving me money. I can stay in hotels for the rest of my life. But it just depends on what you want to do.
I fell in love with the car camping at my first weekend mountain bike race where it was multiple events. I had a Volvo 244. You guys remember that station wagon?
Yeah.
Fit a twin mattress perfectly.
Yeah.
It was excellent. It was excellent. Blow up twin mattress in the back. You just leave your bike outside at night. You got a full sleeping situation. You can shit in the woods, whatever. You don't need much. I just need a mattress in a closed space. And so while this is ideal to have what you have, really I just need a mattress.
Now, food is a big thing too.
Yeah.
And proper ways in which to cook. I will say on my one night bike packing extravaganza experience, which was still a nightmare in my mind, there are ways you can do boil water and pour it into the thing and you've got fettuccine primavera.
And you've got diarrhea is what you've got.
No, it was good.
Have you seen the fiber content in those?
Are they?
Yeah, it's a lot.
They always blow me up.
Yeah.
But I will say that there are so many great ways to cook, and that's another thing I think that is. And Jackson's got me into all this stuff. He turned me on to all these YouTube videos, and now I'm even more excited about.
Yeah.
Has anybody been inside one of those car top tents?
I want one so fucking bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have friends that have those.
Are they as good as they seem? Unless you have a dog.
Yeah, that would be a big thing for me.
Depends on the ones you get, because there are a lot of them out there that are
dog or tent.
Oh well, screw the dogs. Yeah, no. But the tents, you can get them with inserted foam mattresses, memory foam mattresses that come with it. It's a talk about Taj Mahal. You put that on the top of your goddamn car and you're going places.
I think you could bolt a rack to the top of that too. A
You-
bike.
Well,
Yeah.
you know what you could do? They make one that is actually a 2-person size tent that only folds out on one side, and so you can put a bike rack on the other side.
Oh.
That shit's sweet.
That's pretty cool.
It's really it, but no, what you have.
I'm
I'm sold on it. I hadn't actually ever seen the inside of that thing, and that's why when I stepped up into it, I was crouching down at first. I'm I can't stand in here, and then I was oh wait, there's a ton of headspace.
Yeah.
You can stand in there, move around.
Ducted AC.
God,
Yeah.
minimum.
It's wild.
Minimum.
my
I want
new
to.
minimum.
Minimum. I want to live like Pat does.
We did.
See,
We did BWR, and we were at some camp spots in Southern California, and you click on the AC, and no matter where you are in the rig, there's a vent above your head. Going,
Yeah.
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 beautiful.
See, I'm also with David though on the whole car camping thing. They, nowadays, this is what I camp in. They make blow up mattresses specific for your cars.
Yeah.
I have one that is specific for my Subaru Outback.
Yep.
And I could stay in that. It's crazy the amount of stuff they make for car camping specifics.
Mm-hmm.
You could get a bucket toilet, for instance. You could get a changing table, or not a changing table.
Right,
We're not
Jackson?
toddlers.
Yeah.
But you can get a changing tent. You can
Yeah.
get all these separate things that come just for that type of camping. So that would be my bare minimum.
And some of these campgrounds, the one I stayed at had a laundry facility. They had a
In a
rec
freighter?
room. Yeah, they had a rec room. They had all kinds of stuff like that. Bathrooms, full bathrooms with showers. So even if you don't have the rig, you can go and take a shower in one of their facilities.
The thing I struggle with is that when I camp, I want to save money. Usually, if I'm doing it for
$40 a night.
That's saving money.
that's pretty good.
That's wild.
That's pretty good. But
Now I spent $100 on gas.
So that's $140.
Yeah.
that's not bad.
No,
That's
2
not-
nights, 1 night.
Well,
That's 2 nights.
No,
or
that was
that's
one
one
night.
night.
But I also bought a lasagna from Trader Joe's, so that was like $8 more.
So $148.
Yeah.
That's
pretty good.
To live like a king.
And a bag of salad.
To live like a king.
50.
yeah, $150.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Opposed to staying in a hotel that is that for
It
like
could
half
be,
a night.
and it
Yeah.
could be a white tiger. You never know.
Oh,
then you
no.
are getting diseases.
I was
Yes.
going to bring up the White Tiger.
No
What's your
more white.
the hotel minimum?
A Hilton. I'm sorry, but I gotta know the chain.
You know the chain. You know the white tiger.
Now I stepped inside and I'm like, I'm never staying at this goddamn chain again.
Yeah.
But that is my minimum. It's got to be above 4 stars. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a bitch.
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah.
I might even push that to 4.5 because I've seen
people
some.
who would camp though.
Yeah, but I get to control it.
Oh,
in a hotel,
yeah.
if I see bugs, that's not my stuff. I get to control.
okay.
And you have what else do you do, right? Because
Yeah.
at least you can't get up and leave. You have nowhere else to sleep that night,
Yeah,
or you go get another.
I get to lock my own car.
Yeah.
But in that, I get to look at creepy cousin John staring at me through the windows.
Forgot about cousin.
I'm
John.
not staying there.
That was good.
Stories of cousin John. All right. So to be continued. I'm going to if I would have been racing Bloom, I would have been probably
RV.
RVing it.
Yeah.
However, there is one challenge to that rig because it is you drive the entire rig.
You gotta.
If I got to go to the time trial start, we got to have a second car. And so my wife and I have found that sometimes that we'll go someplace and we'll take a second car. She'll drive behind me, which is a huge expense. And I know all the Earth First people are saying, you shit.
Is there any difference? Could you do those like the tow along thing?
I mean, your gas mileage can't
Not
get
that vehicle.
No.
My vehicle won't tow a car. It'll tow a trailer, but it won't tow another car.
It wouldn't tow your Mini.
No, I don't think so. It might, but it would. My gas gauge would go
it'd be way worse,
2
yeah.
miles a gallon.
Mm-hmm.
But is that really that much worse than 3?
I'm getting 11.
14. Oh wow.
Get 11. Oh wow.
I am. I'm not lying.
Yeah,
I'm getting
yeah,
11.
yeah,
If
yeah.
I'm ginger,
You know
on
what?
the-
It's
on the
it's
gas
worth
pedal.
it.
It is.
Yeah.
Right.
After what I saw,
It
it's
is.
worth it.
All right. Well, there.
I hope that's at a lot more races this year.
It will.
I love
And
that.
you can leave your clammy
my-
chamois on
yeah.
the floor afterwards.
Clammy
And then what's crazy, you can fit 6.
Yeah.
Oh,
Could
it's
fit
funny,
6.
funny you
Funny.
say that.
I wish we would have.
You know how many people were in there Saturday night?
One.
One.
I was saying
One.
that. My wife and I were sitting here in your own house,
Yeah.
by the way.
You were
taking
watching
care of your
our
dog.
dogs for us.
And
Yeah.
I was like, they could all fit in there. Could you imagine how hellish that would have been?
That'd have been
All
fun.
6. That would have been. I'm sorry. I love all of you. That would have been awful.
Oh,
6
you're not-
people
yeah, no,
in less
no.
than like 300 square feet.
6?
No,
No.
Waples family, we would have had 8.
If it was the two of you, that would have been a hell of a lot. Just Sam and David and Pat.
No,
You
it
could
would've
have
been-
lived though.
It would have worked.
I think.
I'm
Yeah.
telling you, it would be the time of your life.
But if the wives
have a
would have been
party.
there, and I'm on the biggest
That
bed
was
in the place in
Yeah,
the corner,
fine.
just going, everybody shut up.
Yeah, that's fine.
Sleep
I mean,
on my
that was
table.
okay. I want to like that was really fun to like do it, like have more than just like David and I, or Jackson and I, or you and me, like just like to have more people like on our team there.
Oh,
That was fun. It was like a race weekend.
That sounds like Sam. Pretty soon he's going to just start inviting friends we've never met
Yeah.
onto the team.
Yeah.
He's going to wear a jersey and everything.
Yeah.
Let's switch gears to tonight's headlines, everybody. Quick mention to our friends at Muck Off. Keep the bike proper working with the great products by Muck Off. Clean, maintain, and outperform with the pink goodness that is Muck Off. Use our link, please. Gentlemen, the first biggie's in the book. And it wasn't the guy that's been winning everything. In case you didn't know, yes, indeed, the 2025 Milano Sanremo was this past Saturday, and it did not fail to again provide last-minute fireworks. This year, the death blow happened on the Cipressa, first of the two climbs, and I put that in quotation marks that tend to shake up the race in full, with the one and only Tadej Pogacar launching his efforts to leave all behind. Only Mathieu van der Poel and a slightly fading, you ready for this, Sam? Filippo Ganna holding over the top again to challenge up the Poggio so fast they actually have to brake into those turns. Have you seen that?
Yeah.
They're going so fast that they actually have to grab the brakes and then sprint out of a turn going uphill. Oh boy. Final came down to a 3-up sprint with Van der Poel taking his second win and Ganna holding off Tadej for second. So talk to me. Any thoughts on the race, on how things went, on the battle between Mathieu van der Poel and Tadej? Will Tadej ever be able to beat somebody like Mathieu van der Poel in a race like this? They say this is one of the hardest races in the world to win, yet Mathieu van der Poel has now done it twice.
Well, don't you think it's like there's probably people that are built for it, but this is probably the hardest one for Tadej, right?
Yeah.
Like this is not a well-suited race for him.
No.
I saw a headline today that said that Tadej's biggest barrier to complete professional cycling is Mathieu van der Poel.
You think so? Yeah.
I think that it's, and I said this during the race, you can even talk to my wife about it. She was sitting there right next to me. I was saying, first of all, I was shocked he went on the Cipressa and he blew the race apart that early.
So unbelievable to light it up there.
Yeah, I've never seen Milan Sanremo in that way. And then when it hit the Poggio, I was like, if they're all together, it's not steep enough. He can't lose him on that climb. And I think that's what's going to be so hard for him, is that a guy like Van der Poel, the second every time Tadej attacked, I watched Van der Poel respond, and I thought Van der Poel's going to win.
He had no issue.
No, he had no issue. He was absolutely
Somebody
in
said
the red.
he hit 198 beats per minute or
Yeah.
something like that.
I could see it on Van der Poel's face. Nobody has made him hurt like Tadej has,
Yeah.
but when he could follow it, I knew it wasn't steep enough for him to get away. And I think that's what's going to be the toughest thing for him to win this monument, is nobody. It's just not steep enough.
Milan Sanremo is known for an eternity of waiting for 5 minutes of fireworks. Mm-hmm. I think we had an eternity of waiting for 15 minutes, maybe 20 minutes of fireworks. And this was one of the more exciting races I've seen in a while. It was, and we owe it to this current crop of these fine generation of riders. I was really surprised to have not seen some of the others that I wanted to be up there. I found out Mads Pedersen had been sick. Shocker. He was riding in the rain. Mm-hmm. Horrible conditions just
Michael
a week
Matthews
prior.
would have.
Matthews still prodded in for fourth.
Mm-hmm.
Still won that sprint for fourth.
But he did say, I was sprinting for fourth.
Yeah.
It's not very good.
God, I want him to take one of those. I really want him to take one of those.
If anybody deserves it.
Even watching Ghana drop and pull back in, that was
Monstrous.
That was phenomenal to
Legendary.
watch. Yeah, I mean, even just seeing him come back and then still get second after chasing those two.
Yeah. Sam, are you sitting comfortably?
No.
Okay, I want you to relax yourself a little bit. I'd like you to close your eyes, and I'd like you to tell us all, what's your problem with Filippo Ganna?
I don't actually know. I think it was a couple of years ago. I think it was. Well, did Mathieu van der Poel win last year? No, 2 years ago.
Philipsen.
That was the time. It was 2 years ago at MSR that he was just like sitting in, and not like contributing at all to like try to pull in Van der Poel with Tadej. And I was just like, kind of a little bitch, and like
there it is. Yeah.
That's what he said before the show.
I was
He
like, there's one race that Sam didn't like how he rode, and that was the end of
The one race.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. That's the one time.
Okay.
He's a phenomenal. I mean, did you see him last year in the Giro? And I can't remember which stage, but he sat at like 500 plus
The guy's
watts
a
for
beast.
something like. It was insane.
I'll tell you
He's
what,
an animal.
There's nothing like an Italian in Italy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
They will fucking lose their mind for that stuff.
Yeah. It was wild. I don't know. I have mad respect for him. I just like to harp on him.
Speaking of Italians in Italy, I do have to say the women's edition was a heartbreaker for me because the way it played out with now I do want to give congratulations to Lorena Wiebes who won the race ahead of Mariana Vos. heartbreaker again there. Naomi Reg of EF and with Elisa Longo Borghini's attack, and talk about in the national champions jersey, just going for it and to be caught right before. I mean, what an aggressive race! It was so cool to see that. A lot of Kopecky went all in on that chase to make the catch just meters before the line, and there was all set up for Lorena to take it and bring it home. And what a great thing to see. By the way, these races coming back. There have been talk about a women's Milan-San Remo. There have been kind of mediocre attempts at it, and now they're making this legit thing back. And the women's peloton is so deep right now. I don't know about you guys, but looking at, like, for example, we're going to talk about Gent Wevelgem here, and it's just, especially because they're spread out between so many teams, just like the men's peloton right now. We're in a magical time for road racing fanatics and spectators. Did I sum up the race too much, or did anybody have anything to add?
No, I mean, I'm happy to see that Visma Lease Bike on the women's side of it is actually challenging, the SD Works of it all.
Yeah.
Seeing Pauline Ferrand-Prévot show her stuff on the road is really great. I was interested to see what she could bring when she came from the mountainside of it, but that's been great. And then I don't think Marianne Vos is ever gonna stop. This is pretty crazy to just see.
Timeless.
Yeah, it's truly timeless. And then I saw something that was like, it's going to be tough to challenge Lorena Wiebes when it comes down to a, just a dead sprint like that. It's truly we're watching the best sprinter of their generation right now.
Yeah, absolutely. So this upcoming weekend is the beginning of the Flanders Fields, the beginning of the Flanders Classics. Can I get an amen? We don't have Paul to provide us with the in-depth intricacies of the course and the weather and the frites and the mayo, but we can probably kind of put some things together. Leg zapping climbs, famous for the region, predominantly in the last third of the event. Looking at the start list also gives the feel that a mistake has been made in the top level contenders taking to the start line here this year. It's been absolutely insane. Gentlemen, if you were to look at, we will start with, I guess, the men's field. Who are some riders that automatically stand out to you besides Tadej Pogačar? I can't believe he's just like, this guy is just ravenous for races. He just doesn't want to miss a single thing. I mean, who knows? Cool. He might show up at the start line in Paris-Roubaix here in a couple weeks, but there we go.
Yeah.
Who stands out?
I mean, there's it's more who doesn't stand out. Yeah.
It's the same. Yeah, same thing as like MSR. There's so many people you could choose from.
Yeah.
I'm trying to stay away from Tadej. Mads Pedersen is a big one that pops out for me. Jasper Philipsen, don't love the guy, but probably do great. Tiege Benoot, Filippo Ganna.
Yeah.
Like, there's so many. Kasper Asgreen. Like, there's so many big hitters, big dudes that could do well there.
Yeah. Matteo
Mohoric, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Jackson, I'm gonna allow you to host the show for a minute because I've got to use the toity.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm leading the show for the first time in 20-some years.
Wow.
Jackson's in charge.
Wow. I'm really interested to see if Filippo Ganna can carry over any of that form he had from the last weekend, especially thinking about the fact that he's never really performed that well, I've noticed, in any sort of Belgian classic. I don't know. I'm also really interested to see what Biniam Girmay can do. I think that I saw him in the second group of Milan-San Remo, and I was really shocked to see him there, especially talking about how he just became a dad and everything. But yeah,
I just think like you got to be in a lot of these like more traditional in the Flanders setups. You have to be like the bigger guy. Like that's why Tadej, I think, kind of is the maybe go around to that because he is a hill climber. But I don't think that Biniam Girmay, somebody who's a lighter sprinter like that, is going to get through the rougher cobbled sections to do well.
Well, I guess then my question to you guys is: do you think that now that the lighter sprinter that we are seeing now, and I feel like Peter Sagan really brought that on. The lighter sprinter, do you feel like that is now kind of like the classics rider to beat?
Yeah. I think that it's got to be somebody still that's like just a big workhorse. Which I mean, because Mads Pedersen, I wouldn't call a lighter sprinter.
Not at all.
You know, like somebody like that is going to be the person to beat. Still, is a Mads Pedersen or a Mathieu van der Poel.
Van der Poel's pretty. How big is he in the? I mean, all these people you can't tell. You know,
they're like, Mathieu van der Poel, I think, is 6 foot and he's not actually that big, 170 pounds or something like that. But he looks huge, right, in comparison to the climbers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But in comparison to like Vinny and Girmay.
Yeah, the question that was posed out while you were, in the pote.
I don't know how you guys pee so fast. I mean, when you get to be my age, it just takes a lot longer time.
Normal size prostate.
Either that, or I'm just holding water like a fucking camel.
Yeah.
But
I was at that point where I was just like going. I was just starting to do this David.
You're
swivel.
doing the dance.
I know. I'm on my
You're
way.
like looking at the time.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's
Yeah.
get to the point.
But my question was, because I feel like I've been reflecting a lot on this, and I feel like Peter Sagan brought on this hybrid sprinter, this lighter weight sprinter that we've never seen before, and I feel like that's really taken control of the peloton. But my question was, do you think that the lighter sprinter now is the one that's the classic rider to beat, or is it just another, configuration of rider that still is kind of reigning supreme?
It's that puncher. It's that power. It's that the people who can hit those mega watts, those, like you said, the MAP, that you can hit that 5-minute power and then recover and then hit it again and recover and hit it again. And that's what those classics riders, I mean, I keep thinking, and the sprint element of it is almost irrelevant when you get to the end of some of these races where you've got such a brutal effort going on. I mean, you think of the Fabian
Cancellara's.
Well, Fabian Cancellara, Jesus Christ, I'm getting too old. Anyway, the rider that will come to me. But you think of some of these pure sprinters that are, after those climbs, are they able to make it to that point? Are they able to make it to that?
I mean, Ghana last week, perfect example.
Yeah.
Gent-Wevelgem's a race where they can, maybe.
Yeah.
But, once we get closer to the, Tour of Flanders.
But I feel like any of these cobble, like classics, like they just beat the snot out of a lighter rider. It's like it's amazing that Tade gets to where he is, right?
When Jasper Philipsen makes it to the end of some of these races, it surprises me.
Yeah. And he's podiumed twice at Paris-Roubaix.
Yeah.
Mind you, much different parcours.
Yeah.
However, he's making it onto 2 separate podiums of probably one of the hardest races in the calendar.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So
and he's won Milan-San Remo and things like that.
It's just interesting.
That development from a sprinter to a classics rider is sometimes inevitable. I mean, Johan Museeuw, when he started out, I don't know if you guys know who he was.
Nope.
Started out as a pure sprinter, a Tour de France stage sprinter, and then just transitions happened. Next thing you knew, he had hair, and then he was a classics rider.
Well, and I think Wout van Aert is a rider that is worth talking about in the fact that
Wout?
I was wondering that too.
I'm scared of his knee.
I'm scared for himself.
Yeah.
Because we are starting to see a really, really talented rider be overtaken by generational talents.
You don't think he's a generational talent, though?
I think that
He's the same age
I
as these
think
guys.
he
but
is.
I think he is falling to the wayside of a Tadej Pogacar and a Mathieu van der Poel.
God, I hope that's wrong.
Because
but,
we are starting to see, tell me a big result over the last years. Besides,
But it riddled with injuries,
that's
I think that's the bigger problem of it, because I think that, man, when he is not injured, I still think that he is freaking proper. But you're totally right. I mean, it's been crash after crash after crash.
But what's the Palmares?
Yeah.
I'm starting to think like green jersey, bunch of tour stages.
Some of these crashes victims are becoming. I mean, Jonas Vingegaard now
Yep.
is not. He's out until the Dauphiné now, and they said he did sustain a concussion with his last.
And I
crash,
think
so.
we're going to see another year of probably what we had last year.
You think so? He won't be 100% by the time we get to the tour.
I think that when you sustain injuries like that, where the deadline continues to be pushed back, it's like that's training time that you're losing.
Mm-hmm.
Before we get too far away from the topic, let's pick 3 women and pick 3 men. And I think you guys have been doing that. You guys have all circled. Did you do it before I was gone peeing? Did you say who they were before I was gone peeing? Okay, let's start. We believe in chivalry here. Ladies first. I am going with Lotta Kopecky. I am going with Elisa Balsamo. And I am going with Elisa Longoborghini.
I thought you meant ladies first. 'Cause you were going first.
No way.
Did we pick the same three riders?
Same three riders.
So we're washed. We're washed.
All right.
The only difference I have is Zoe Backstead.
Yeah, that's a good choice. I was really hoping Puck Peters was in this race.
Yeah.
Because she had, I think, the fastest time up the Poggio in this last. Either the Cipresso or the Poggio. She
did.
Lying.
That's pretty fun.
Yeah. David, any variations?
No, I only even picked Kopecky and Longoborghini.
Okay. Those are good choices. For the men, I went with... I had to pick Tadej because I think Tadej's going to be mad. I think him? No, I did.
I am saying like he's going to be mad if you don't pick him.
No, I think he's going to be mad at the fact that Milan Sanremo didn't go the way he wanted, and I think he takes it out on the pedals, and I think those climbs are terrain in which he will do such. I also think that Mads Pedersen is going to be better. He's going to not be sick, and he's going to be dancing on the pedals. And my third choice, I really wanted to go with Michael Matthews, but I went with Kasper Askren because I would like to see EF win a classic with Kasper Askren before Kasper's days are ghost. Get it? Wow. Casper the Ghost. Paul would get it.
Yeah, no, I get that.
Everybody gets it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Jackson.
For the men, I picked Filippo Ganna, as I mentioned while you were peeing. I'm really interested to see if he carries that form over from last weekend. But he's not in Italy anymore. Mads Pedersen, I think, is going to probably be second. And I genuinely think that because Matthew's not there, I think we're going to see a Tadej show.
Yeah.
I really do.
Tim.
Okay. So I also agree with the Casper, and I had the same reasoning. And it'd also be really cool to see EF win something pretty big like this.
Yeah,
right?
I haven't. Alberto Bettiol won
Flanders.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that'd be so cool. So and I really like Casper. I didn't know about Mads being sick, but I'm still gonna stick with him because hopefully
he's not
over
now.
there. I know,
He
but
was
it's
in
just,
Milan Sanremo.
yeah, it's one of those things where it's like it could still linger.
Residual.
Curveball, not Tadej. I'm going Filippo. I have him circled on here. You know what? I'm giving you a chance.
God.
Don't burn me, buddy. Don't burn
You
me.
hypocritical son
of shit.
Yes.
I think if he's short climbs, I think he might be able to do it.
Right?
He just doesn't have that punch.
Mm-hmm.
Here I am, also picking Ghana, just to spite Sam. I thought if he won, it would make him mad.
What?
And then I just... it would be nice to, it'd be nice to just not have it be a Tadej show, so I picked Mads and Matthew Mahoric.
Oh,
I love Matthew Mahoric.
Mahoric.
He's also a good choice always.
That's a good choice.
Yeah.
Based off the sound, I don't know if it is.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, well,
It just
you know,
happened.
that was the third. I was like, I need to try to not pick Tadej. You know, it's easy. Choice.
I like Matthew Mahoric. I think is
if he's top 3, you owe me an extra beer next week from the tap.
I do.
Yeah.
Honorable mention
on
Michael
the
Matthews.
limitless tap. You owe him an extra
Honorable
one.
mention.
Michael Matthews.
I'd
Totally.
love to see Bling do something great. I really want him to do something great. Okay, I think I hit the wrong key earlier, so I'm just going to go straight into our segments tonight by hitting the same bumper that I hit last time. Segments brought to us by NordVPN. You guys, if you are having a struggle watching these races, get to NordVPN. Use our link at packfiller.com. Jackson's going to go pee now. Watch. He'll be gone for 8 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
Me, I'm just
The door closes and then you walk back in.
it is. It's just not fair.
Mm-hmm.
It's not fair.
You could probably estimate his prostate size based off how quick he is compared to yours. You know.
Oh yeah, yeah. My dad once said it best. He and we were in a restaurant, and the two of them went to the bathroom at the same time, and Jax came back so quick, and my dad came back a while later, and he said, "God, the kid was finished before he even started." It's the cruelty of youth and the experience of adulthood. Should we start? I think we should start. I gotta switch cameras. We're we should most definitely start with Sam tonight. Fit Tips with Bike Fit Sam. Brought to us by, of course, Ambassador Cycling. Be sure and check out ambassadorcycling.com because that's where Sam is, and you all just want to see him. This was an interesting one because especially, like, for example, my mountain bike now, which I love, came with a one-piece bar stem. And it's a little nubby. I mean, and I'm Irish Catholic, and I know a nubby.
Oh, man.
And so the nubby is ridiculous. I would like to be stretched out a little bit more and things like that.
Yeah.
And I'm just wondering how you approach that when it comes to fitting people, and you're restricted with stem length, you're restricted with bar width. Heaven forbid something go wrong, you can't swap the shit out.
Yeah. I
do you
mean,
approach
so rarely do I actually do a fit on somebody who has a bike that has the integrated stuff and
Really?
doesn't need something different.
Oh, okay, sorry.
I think that's probably happened like maybe 2 times out of all the fits that I've done with those fully integrated one-piece cockpits.
Yeah.
And I'm like, bummer. Right? Because it's
sell it.
either, it's one of those things that either you got to take it off, sell it. It's all integrated. So maybe you need to get new housing and everything for your brake lines, all that.
Shit, and internal routing. And
It's a
all
nightmare. And so, like, usually I'm like, hey, well, the best that we can do is you're probably going to have too much weight on your hands. You're going to be weighted forward on the bike, but we'll slam the seat forward and it's going to make it so that you can reach the handlebars, right? So that's worst case scenario that happens somewhat frequently.
And that fucks up where you are in relation to your bottom bracket.
Totally. It throws off everything. And so I'm not a fan of them. I still don't have a one-piece integrated cockpit. And even though I now know but I mean, okay, actually, I'm going to step back just for 1 second on that. I bought a new bike and I knew my measurements. I kind of roughly threw it on. I'm like, I think this is right. And I got a 120 stem. Okay, well, now imagine that I buy a full integrated. I'm like, well, I know my bar width is 42 and I know that I like 120 stem.
Yeah.
Great. Okay, order that. After riding it for a little bit, this does ride differently, and I now needed to order a 130 stem. And it's just one of those things. It's like, man, if I had to go through the whole like changing up my whole cockpit for that, what a nightmare. So I do fits for people reasonably often where we will take some measurements and it's like, okay, ride this, right? See how this goes for about a month, and then let's order that, and we'll swap out the other handlebars.
Thank God, because cycling's not expensive as it is.
Yeah, and you can just, I mean, like the reality is, if you want that fully integrated stuff, it's really cool. It is very stiff. It's awesome, but just make sure that like I would get fit before you'd ever commit to something like that, because otherwise, like you got a $10,000 bike that kind of rides like shit, right?
Yeah.
So get fit for that first, and then ride it for a little bit. The components don't even need to be that. You can like $40 bars and $40 stem. Ride it for 2 months, and you're like, okay, I know that this is comfortable. Now let's buy what I want.
There are, and you see these advancements where I don't know if you guys have seen the actual cycling computer head unit that's actually a part of the stem.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
These people obviously never crash, and they probably drive fucking Tesla vans everywhere, Tesla trucks everywhere, because this is just the dumbest expense that I've ever seen in my life. When I can, I broke my Wahoo head mount, I can afford a new one. I'm not completely out $5,000.
Mm-hmm.
Jackson, you started with an integrated stem. You didn't?
No,
Nope, was never
Oh,
fully
it wasn't.
integrated.
BMC did a really good thing there
Yeah.
because they wanted it to be, because they knew their frame was so stiff that they wanted the front end to be a little bit more compliant.
Okay.
And they, brilliant, right? Like
Yeah.
they put the two different, it's a stem and a handlebar. Like there was some proprietary bits to the stem, but still two separate pieces. You could order one and then the other.
My Canyon is integrated, and I don't like it because it's a tiny stem, and I want a little more reach.
I know,
but I can't.
Yep, I've moved so many people away from that.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Well, son of a bitch.
You're out of luck.
Let's switch to Ask Dr. David tonight. Sponsored by Dr. David because, I've seen his ass.
You have.
Talk about bedside manner
Yeah.
Yeah.
or roadside manner.
Yeah.
Roadside, yeah, there you
I wanted to ask you tonight about the incredibly popular concept of CBD and recovery. I don't know if we've chatted on this about this before, but obviously, highly popular, highly, I would assume, untested. And I wish it would have been something that was available 20 years ago, and the legality of it, and things like that. It would be interesting to see where we could be now with all those types of things. But a lot of people are using it for recovery-based reasons. I have it in a chamois cream, for Christ's sake.
Oh, jeez.
I have it in a lip balm. All this kind of stuff, so I'm high 24/7.
I was gonna say maybe that's why you're having a hard time peeing very fast. Is
Your Dane's taking a day off.
Sure, I know you gotta pee, man.
But we gotta shred first.
David, what do we know about CBD? What do we think we should be aware of? Any advice you've got on CBD usage?
Yeah, we're talking mostly about like topical lotions and stuff, right? Some people
mainline.
some people consume it.
Yeah.
Or, put it
I
in.
do.
I know mostly
some
of the
gummies.
recovery
Yeah.
lotion stuff.
I have
that
some gummies that I'll pop one in when I kind of want to watch
I put it on my
YouTube.
eye accidentally. That was bad.
Ooh.
So CBD is like
I saw some pretty cool shit, man.
Yeah.
CBD is the part of the marijuana plant that has the pain alleviating anti-inflammatory effects supposedly.
No HTC.
No THC.
THC.
The
HTC High Road.
Yeah.
Yep. Exactly.
Hi.
Hey,
Yeah,
Rob.
it makes a lot more sense.
I could see how that.
Yeah.
Yeah. You would cross those wires.
Yeah.
So yeah, theoretically doesn't have any effect on your cognition, but from what I know, the effects in terms of pain and inflammation are not perfectly understood. It's not like an anti-inflammatory, like an NSAID, where we know exactly how it works on which cytokine or interleukin or whatever in the body. It's I don't know if we fully understand exactly how it's supposed to help, but there's a lot of people think that it helps with general inflammatory things. You can put it on like arthritic knees or shoulders or calcific tendinosis in the shoulders.
What?
And
I haven't done that.
no, definitely not. And
No, I haven't. I will.
well, I don't know that it's going to hurt you is what I'm getting at.
Oh, shit.
I also don't know that it's going to help you.
Oh, okay.
I don't know that, we talked previously on the podcast about anti-inflammatories in exercise like ibuprofen, like NSAIDs.
Yeah.
And the advice I gave everybody at that point was this should not be a regular part of your practice because it has effects on the kidneys that can be detrimental. But that's because we have so much information about how ibuprofen and NSAIDs work. So we know that. But as far as recovery goes, I don't know of anything that says like, hey, if you use CBD and it helps with inflammation, you're going to recover better and you're going to perform. Because the goal of recovery is to perform better later, right?
Yeah.
It's not just to make your aches and pains feel better. We all want to be able to race better the next day or the next week.
Mm-hmm.
I would assume that all we could really say about what we know at this point with CBD is that it might make you feel better if you put it on like sore legs, sore shoulders. I don't think it's going to make you recover better and perform better though.
Okay.
And I guess the caveat to that is we just don't necessarily know, but not currently recommended in Western medical practice for any use. I mean, I don't have any like clear indication to tell people to use CBD.
And it sounds like a lot of it, the manufacturers of it, I've heard that there's not necessarily a practicing standard for how it's created, manufactured, delivered.
So it's not going to be FDA regulated
in
terms of dosing or quantity or quality of what, if you're taking gummies, how much is really in there. It's not going to be regulated by the FDA. And so maybe they have some sort of internal quality control, but so you don't actually know dose to dose or, amount of lotion between each applications, whatever form of CBD you use. So I think it's probably kind of like making expensive pee with vitamins. It's probably just an expensive potential thing that I don't think it's actually going to help you, but if people think it makes them feel better, it's also probably not going to hurt you.
But you can melt into the couch and watch this week's episode of Severance.
But that's
not.
But
CBD.
that's not CBD, right? That's the
That's
T-
a little
That's
THC.
Yeah.
All right. I don't know what you're talking about.
No, CBD does that for sure.
It does, bro.
No, this is totally
Bro.
CBD.
Bro.
Bro.
Okay, real quick, bro. Did
Yeah?
you guys see Cole Patton's, the really fast guy that was there?
So you think
he
of
had
his
the-
hoods?
He had the bro hoods.
Did he have him in?
He had the bro hoods, yeah.
Well, you don't even know who he is. So
Yeah, so
I didn't see him.
Well,
He didn't even say hi to me.
I think I'm on my way. I gotta have a time with you.
yeah.
Angle those levers in,
I think so.
bro. Speaking of which, let's get to the cool down with Jackson Bulger because it is the great way to end our podcast even before the final K. Cool down. What you got for us, Jackson?
So, as we talked about earlier, I took my FTP test and I got the numbers afterwards, and I thought
1 million watts.
exactly. I thought, why do I really care about this? Why does it matter? I know it matters for my training. You know, now the workouts will actually be adjusted to all of the work that I've done. But the second that I take myself out of that setting, I don't really give a shit anymore. And I find that really interesting that we harp so heavily on these numbers that just don't really matter once you get into a certain area. You know, does that make sense?
Oh my God.
I think that
yeah.
I think that time trialing is a different thing. I do kind of think that gravel racing is a bit of a different thing.
Yeah.
Because it's so much longer. But I don't know if it really matters when you're in a crit. You know?
Yeah.
And so my question that I was wanting to pose is, does it matter to you? Sam, does it matter to you? Does it matter what your FTP is when you find out that number?
Not at all. David and I actually talked about this not that long ago.
Wait, sorry. You guys both. I got off. I had a really tough time getting off of my bike at the end of this race.
It was bad.
I said to you guys, I'm like, I'm going to die straddling this top two because I can't get my leg over. But both of you, before I even got my bike over, told me that you both posted your 1 hour maximum.
No,
and then you have since both said it tonight before we went on air.
Yeah.
So don't tell me the numbers don't matter to you guys because you're fucking hypocrites.
Well, no, they truly don't matter to me. I mean, I like that Strava tracked my...
Unless you're dick measuring.
Yeah, because like you go to a typical group ride now and everybody's like, I always give you a hard time about it, you know, like asking, what's your FTP?
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
but like I truly like, I don't think that it matters because I think what matters is the durability part of it, right? And so if you can do that at like 60 miles in, that's true, right? Like for me, you know, it says my FTP is 320 watts or something like that on Trainer Road. Well, it just said that my, you know, like our record is, you know, 295. So like, what's my
dropped
FTP?
by the guy
I still
who
got
Pat
dropped.
doesn't know.
Exactly, doesn't really matter. And so it's like David's hour power record is higher than mine, but like when it just depends on the.
Very nice.
Very nice. I like that very much. But like, it's one of those things that I just don't think that really matters. Truly, I don't. I think that there's so many other aspects, like what you're saying in a crit, like how your technical abilities, all of that I think that matters way more.
And I think what's interesting too is there's always a number that matters to the most of us, right? Because I think that for me, when I'm looking at FTP, I couldn't care less about it. I want to know what my sprint number is, and I know that my sprint number is probably better than most people in this city. I will be cocky for one time. I know that it is there, and that's what I care about. But I think that like you probably care more about that hour power.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just care. Like honestly, I care. Like I told you because it's like a hard effort.
Yeah.
Like that's all I really care about. So I'm
that's
like,
a big deal.
Yeah, I'm like, that's how hard it was.
And it is, I can't tell you how relative it is because, Jackson, this is not meant as anything other than what I'm going to say. My Wahoo-based FTP is higher than yours is right now.
Oh, yeah.
But I
all of
weigh an ass load, literally, more than you do, and I can't convert power to weight ratios that make me go faster. So it is a relative number that is a beautiful thing for training metrics.
Absolutely. And that's all it is.
I like it because I like knowing in my heart. It's like I got a number up there that's, you know, good. I will say the entire Fondo, all I had on my head unit was speed, distance, and either time or elevation. That was it. I saw no heart rate. I saw no power numbers because I don't have power on my gravel bike. I don't. I need to. I want it, but I don't. I didn't look at any of that stuff. I didn't look at heart rate the whole way because I just didn't, because I knew I'd be like, God, I'm going really hard. Mm-hmm. I stopped looking at that stuff about just this year.
Yeah,
and it's been a game changer.
Absolutely.
David, does it matter to you?
I think I do care about FTP. I think there was a time where my FTP was well above 300, and I, like, this year was the first year where I did like a little. I don't remember what I did at the beginning of the year with FTP.
Yeah, I thought it, or was it a ramp test,
or it just guessed or something. I don't know if I actually did a ramp, but Trainer Road put me at 296, and I was like, it mattered
I suck
to me.
now. Yeah.
I was like, for whatever reason, whatever vain reason, I want my FTP above 300.
Me too. Mine dropped to like 288 this winter, and I was pissed.
Yeah. That being said, I have set my 1 minute power record this year. I set my 1 hour power record last year, and then I got my second fastest 1 hour power at this race. Like, I'm doing really well from power numbers, but in hell, I want my FTP above 300 on that stupid AI detected.
Yeah, that's the thing, right?
Yeah.
But it probably is, and it comes down to a race.
In a vain way, I do care about my FTP.
There
I don't
we
know
go.
what else to care about.
There we go.
Like,
They're vanity numbers.
It is, yeah. And it's interesting how the body will also cope with the stress that it's put under. Mm-hmm. What I got this weekend is not my best ever 20-minute power.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Because my body has had to cope with certain situations that I've mentally put it through.
Yeah. And you're not bleeding through your eyeballs trying to hold that wheel.
No, exactly.
You'll go harder
but it's
when you're
just
bleeding through your eyeballs.
miraculously the best number I've ever put out without even knowing.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Interesting. Everybody's got a thought on it.
Yeah.
There we go. All right, gentlemen. Before I hit the outro, we got our final K. But before I do, I do want to say, be sure and like and subscribe to the show. Check out the YouTube channel as well, a Papa Review. We like the reviews. Check out our website. All kinds of stuff happening there. Review us on iTunes. I haven't seen any cool reviews on iTunes. I know, I look at the numbers and a lot of you guys are listening to it. Throw us a review on iTunes. I think it'd be fun. And you can even comment something smart-assy. I think it'd be good. You can make fun of the fact that I don't know who is.
Cole Patton.
Cole Patton is.
Oh, I'm
going to look him up now. There's still a review up there that says I didn't know who Lael Wilcox was back in the day.
what?
I didn't know who she was.
But now
Won't
you
make
do.
that mistake.
But now I do.
Yeah.
I've watched a ton of Lael's accomplishments, and I am floored by that, by what that person can do. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
It's impressive. So, gentlemen, the final question. E-bikes. If you could own one, we know one of us does here. What would you own, and what would you use it for? An e-bike.
Okay.
Jackson.
If I were to own an e-bike, it would fit a woman of the height of 5'7". It would be a road bike, and we would ride all over the state together.
Okay. You want to ride with your wife? Distances.
Yeah.
Okay.
Very cool.
Sam.
It would be one of those really cool European commuters. You know, that like has
With
the
the
thing
trailer?
out front. you know?
Yeah.
And then like a basket.
Hold a
and it'd
child.
be, yeah.
I've been in
Yeah.
one of those, and I'm not saying I've ridden. I've been in one
That's
of those
rad.
in the Bike Towns Bend episode. It was fucking cool.
Yeah.
David,
I own an e-bike. I love it. It's for commuting, and it is jerry-rigged to go well over 30 miles an hour. I made it myself, and that's the only kind I would like. Speed and dangerous.
I would.
To get to and from work.
You know what? I've seen a lot of the mountain bike ones where people use them to ride up and fly down and stuff like that. I think I would definitely do a commuter for sure. And if the heart ever got bad, I would go. I don't know why. Scott is the one I would lean towards. Their e-bikes, 28 mile an hour max.
Yep. We rented one. They
Freaking
were awesome.
great. Yeah. I don't bash them. I did see one in the Fondo, and I was kind of a little taken aback because the guy was like, on your left. I'm like, click down, asshole. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because he was.
Some of us are pedaling here.
Yeah. So there we go. Oh my God, the theme's over. I guess that means we got to end the show.
That's it.
Right.
Yeah. Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Hope
See
Paul
you
lands
later.
smoothly,
Yes.
and we can talk
Until
about
next
rim
week.
brekes and non-hookless tire.
And non-races.
Yeah. Exactly.